my first commission check was $9,000. I put myself in a position that I'm going to buy my first commercial property in 6 months. Don't know how, but I'm going to do it, and I'm going to make $1 million on that deal. 6 months went by. You can have fear of doing a large deal, but people lie, numbers don't.
Right.
So if the numbers make sense and it's just the fear holding you back, you could overcome that fear. Like Nike says, just do it.
When you love what you do, work is play, and you
Correct.
never work another day in your life. And if you're in a job you hate, what are you doing? What's one action item that you would tell them to do to get going in this business or get going in general? Welcome back to Multifamily Rockstar. So as you guys know, this is where we dive deep into our guest deals and we give you really practical and actionable items so you can get started doing this business and do your first deal, especially if you're new to multifamily. Now, because this is here in my studio, I don't have Mark Nagy on this episode, but we'll just do without him today. Anyway, today I've got Hector Garcia, who's here from California, and he's here. We made it work perfectly because we have our Warrior event this weekend. We'll have several hundred Warriors here, and so it was perfect for him to fly out, do this episode here in the studio rather than on Zoom. So welcome, brother. Glad you're here.
Oh, pleasure to be here, Rod. Thank you so much. So,
Yeah.
Really honored.
Absolutely. So why don't you give us a little background on you, bud?
Yeah, sure. So I'm an immigrant just like yourself. So
Okay.
I came to Southern California. My parents brought me here when I was 3 years old. So I grew up in Orange County, California, and I grew up poor. I grew up hungry. Not physically hungry, though. We'd always had food on the table, but I was definitely hungry for a better life.
Yeah. Where did you immigrate from?
Mexico.
Mexico.
So family's from
Okay.
Mexico, yeah.
And so you immigrated when you were 3. Well, continue.
Yeah, so growing up poor, I mean, life was tough, but I had friends at church that were really wealthy and going to their homes, their beautiful big mansions, and they're living a great life. And I said, you know what, the way I'm living is obviously not the best way, and there's something better for me out there. And this was me at 6, 7 years old seeing this. So knowing that there was a better life out there, I just knew that we were going to make it one day. And fast forward to when I was about 15, 16 years old, I graduated early on high school. I finished all my high school credits. The principal asked if I wanted to walk with the seniors. I said, no, thanks. Just send me my diploma. I'm going to go straight to work. So at 15, 16 years old, I was already working, doing mortgage loans, and that was my entry into real estate during the 05, 06 time.
Oh, my God.
So the refi boom.
That was a crazy time for mortgages. Don't tell me you worked for Countrywide.
Countrywide did my loan that I bought a home with, yeah.
Remind me to tell you something after the recording about Countrywide, but yeah, I mean, if you could fog a mirror back then, you could buy a house.
Yeah,
we stated income loans,
ninja loans.
Yeah,
no income, no job, no problem.
Yeah.
So,
no worries, man.
Yeah.
I don't care if you work at Wendy's, you can buy a $300,000 house.
Exactly.
Yeah, big deal.
Yeah, no problem.
Wow. So you did that. Well, that was at how old were you?
15, 16.
Really?
Yeah.
You working the phones or something?
Cold calling, correct.
Cold calling.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then check this out. My first commission check, and this was me being poor.
Right.
I still lived in the duplex, in the garage of the duplex. So in the wintertime, it was like living in the ice chest. In the summer, it was like living in the sauna.
No kidding.
But I was out there cold calling, and my very first commission check was $9,000.
No kidding.
So for a poor kid, that was extremely just like,
wow.
The gates had opened.
That's awesome.
And what did I buy with my first check? I bought a bed.
You bought a bed. Yeah, wow. That's crazy, buddy. Wow, that says a lot about your drive. Very impressive. Yeah, that was a crazy time. I mean, my net worth in 2006 went up $17 million while I slept because the values went up. And then, of course, we all know I lost my ass in 08. I lost everything, $50 million. But so what'd you do after that?
Well, 06, 07, times were great.
Right.
16, 17 years old, making consistently 30, 40 grand. 50 grand was my biggest month doing the loans. And then 08 came, and I had bought my first house a year previously at 17. 08 came, and it was like a classic story of rags to riches, right back down to rags.
I know it well. Yes.
Yes. that's what happened.
How
And
did
then-
you, wait a minute. How did you buy a house when you were 17? Did you have your parents sign for
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Oh,
my
okay.
parents signed.
Wow.
I put up the money, structured the loan with Countrywide.
No, no kidding.
And by the way, Countrywide, my rep that I was giving them the loans to, told me, Hector, this is the last loan we're gonna do. I'm only gonna do it because you've given us a lot of business this past year.
Wow.
My loan was the last Countrywide loan.
No kidding. Wow.
Talk about the straw that broke the camel's back, right?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So 08 hit. What happened?
Lost everything. Met my wife around that time.
You
So
lost your house too?
lost the house,
Oh, yeah.
lost the Porsche, lost the Lexus. My wife had met me around that time. 2 years later, we got married 2010, and I was already driving the Dodge Neon, the $1,500 hoopty. So I knew she wasn't in it for the money. You know.
Oh, that's a good sign.
So,
That's
yeah.
a good sign that she hung in there with
She
you.
hung in there. We just hit 15 years in January, so we've been married for 15
Congratulations.
years. We got married in 2010. And I still kept my toe in the water with the real estate. So we did a couple single family flips. I did some land deals, so smaller deals. But yet I always knew that going back to real estate, there was a lot of wealth there. And I'm from California, so you can make six figures on a single family flip. And that's
Right.
what we did for a couple of years.
Okay. And so, why multifamily? Talk about your first. Let's talk about your first multifamily deal.
Yeah, sure. That was in 2019, right before the
Okay.
pandemic. I had a business that I was running. And during that time, I finally picked up the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, finally, after
Oh,
so
wow.
many years. And that just really opened up the doors to me for other commercial books and nothing but real estate that I just, indulged myself with. And I picked up this one book called Commercial Real Estate Investing for Dummies, those little yellow books. There's
Yeah.
actually one for real estate.
Right.
And I learned the power of NOI, forced appreciation, cap rates. And that was just mind blowing to me that for $1 of rent increase, you could create $20 of value on the back end, which
Right.
was mind blown, right?
Right.
So shortly after that, I told my wife, I'm going to dive into commercial real estate from now on. And I sat down, did some goal setting. I put myself on a position that I'm going to buy my first commercial property in 6 months. Don't know how, but I'm going to do it. And I'm going to make $1 million on that deal. 6 months went by. I found a deal. And my wife's like, okay, you found it. What are you going to do? How are you going to get the money? Yeah, let me tell you about that. I'm going to have to sell the house. This was before I joined the Warrior program that I
Wow.
learned that you can raise capital, right?
Wow.
So I had to sell the house. I sold the business, and I put all my eggs in that one basket to buy the first commercial property. It was a 20-unit multifamily deal in San Bernardino, California.
No kidding. Okay.
Yeah.
What'd you end up paying for it?
I paid a $72,500 a door, which is $1,450,000. I put
Okay.
about $400,000 into the renovations. On month 15, it was fully stabilized, fully rehabbed. It appraised for $3 million.
No kidding.
And I sold it 18 months later, which was on month 18 for 2.8. So just shy of $1 million profit, just like I had written down on my goals, the previous year and a half.
So how did you get that value up? What were your going in rents and what were your out? What'd you get it to?
Yeah, the rents were $600-$700 roughly, and
When you bought it?
when I bought it,
Uh-huh.
and I bought it, remember, in 2020 around COVID time. So
Right.
when I bought it, half of the building wasn't even paying rent.
Oh wow.
So I went in there and I did cash for keys. So I literally got all the non-paying tenants out, and the ones that were paying, they were able to stay, which was half of them. But I did my renovations.
Okay, hold on. Hold that thought.
Okay.
So he just talked about cash for keys. Now, back, especially in California, it's a pain in the ass to get somebody out.
Yep.
I will tell you, cash for keys is a fantastic framework to get tenants out rather than evicting them if it's possible to do that. I'll tell you a quick story as an aside. I had a 403 unit in Shreveport, and it was oh my God, what a freaking nightmare that place was. And we had a shooting and it was with two units that knew each other in the complex. And I mean, this to give you some background, when I took this place over, I had a partner, an ex-partner, definitely emphasize the word ex partner, bring us the deal. And he had his management company managing it and didn't have a clue, because they'd never managed a C asset before. So they just crashed and burned. Both pools were down. It was grossing $100,000 a month on 403 units, to give you an idea how bad it was. I spent, months there, got it up to 300,000, and thank God we sold it. And I'll just tell you, I'm digressing a little bit, but it's a funny story. I just found out. Well, I found out about 6 months ago. It's completely empty now.
Wow.
It's been shut down. Yeah. But anyway, so I'm walking through the complex with the property manager after this shooting, and I hear loud music coming out of one of these units. I go up to the door and I'm like pounding on the freaking. By the way, don't do this, okay? I wasn't strapped or anything, and I just pounded on the freaking door. And the guy came to the door. I said, "Shut that freaking music down so I can talk to you." And I said, "If you can be out of here by tomorrow, I'll give you $1,500 cash. If not, you will never rent again. I will make sure that happens." I had the fit. He was out. I went to the other unit. There were actually 3 involved. I got all 3 of them out within 2 days. But the only caveat with cash for keys is you got to check your local laws, especially if you're managing, as a management company entity. But it's a fantastic way to get people out, and it's cheaper. And especially if they leave it, at least swept condition. Anyway, so sorry to digress, but it is a great strategy if you can implement it. So please continue.
Well, that's been the main strategy that I've been using
Really?
in California. And that's the only way that I see that we could create exponential equity growth on
Right.
these properties, because there's a bunch of properties with extremely low rents that landlords just haven't, raised the rents on, especially because California, they got some strict rent control laws.
Right.
And just why go through the trouble of raising 3%
Right.
if you're going to have a
Oh,
vacancy
that's a freaking joke. Yeah, 3%.
Yeah, it is. So the value that I do is I go in and I vacate the tenants and I buy them out. But there is laws with that. So I know you talk.
Yeah, be careful.
Yeah.
Just be careful.
Yeah,
just
California's
check your rules and whatnot. But yeah, and one thing he said about increase in the NOI, increase of $1 can be a $20 increase. It is that much. Okay, and so. I love to give the example of that asset we have in San Antonio where we painted the parking spaces, put numbers down there, and said, hey, you can reserve your own parking space. It's $25 a month. You can park right in front of your unit. First come, first serve. Had 100 people take it, and those 100 people at $2,500 a month annualized is $30,000. At a 4 cap was a $750,000 increase in value.
Correct.
For some freaking paint. We didn't even pay for the paint. Tow company did it so they could have the towing contract. So yeah, that's why we love this business. So anyway, what'd you get the rents to after the 600?
$1,150.
$1,150. Almost doubled. Shit.
So that's why I was able to double the purchase price on the building. I paid $1.4 million for it, sold it for $2.8 18 months later.
That's freaking beautiful.
Yeah.
So why'd you join the Warrior program then? I mean, you were already kicking ass here.
It was me putting up all my own money
you sold
into
your
the
house.
deal.
That's right.
Yeah,
Okay.
sold a house, sold a business, which I only kept a year's worth of reserves. So I put a lot of financial stress on myself and my family. Later, once I joined the Warrior program, I realized you don't have to put up all your own money. You could go out there, create wealth, create great returns, tax benefits with you and all your investors. You still get to do the deals that you love and you're going to have great exits with. It's like a beautiful thing all the way around. So I don't have to go out there and put myself in those positions anymore.
And you don't have to tell the boss you're selling the house either.
Exactly,
right?
her dream house, right?
Right. Wow.
We got it back. We got another beautiful house in a gorgeous neighborhood and on a golf course, and things are beautiful now. So
Nice. By the way, guys, if you're considering possibly getting some guidance so you can experience the life you want this year rather than later, or maybe you thought that you might be able to learn how to use other people's money to do this business like Hector has done, text the word CRUSH to 72345. See if the Warrior program might be able to help you with that situation or help you in this business in general. Because I got to tell you, there are a lot of deals coming right now, and we'd love to help you accomplish what you want in your life and create lifetime cash flow for yourself. So again, text CRUSH to 72345. So let me ask you a question. I have a lot of listeners that haven't taken action yet, that know they should do something. What's one action item that you would tell them to do, or what would you tell them to do rather to get going in this business or get going in general, okay?
You're not paying me to do this, Rod, but just join the damn Warrior program.
Oh, that's kind of
it's really what it is. You have to be able to network with other people that are doing much bigger things than you are, and they're gonna hold your hand and guide you on how to do these things. You can't do it alone. I mean, I put all my eggs in that one basket, and it was a success, but it could have easily been the other way around, and I could have lost my shirt with it.
Yeah.
And why put yourself through those positions when you can go out there for a small fee, hire a coach, and then really do things the right way and be successful at it? The entry fee is really not what should hold you back from, reaching your life goals and just things that you really want to accomplish with life. So definitely get a coach.
Yeah.
And
well, even if it's not us, get a freaking coach, because
100%.
We're full disclosure, we're a fraction of what other people charge, and I think our results are better than all of them combined. I think we're pushing 270,000 units at this point, and I've only been teaching 7 years, something I'm very proud of. But and not just doing multifamily anymore, by the way. I mean, we've got a ton of. I mean, you're doing a hotel conversion, right?
Yeah.
You're doing a hotel conversion. We've done some of those. We've got tons of senior housing, tons of self-storage, mobile home parks, retail, mixed use, industrial flex space. I mean, you name it. We've got people doing all of it. And some very successful hotel conversions, by the way.
I'd love to get into that if you want. But
Well, actually, let's get into it right now. So talk about the hotel conversion deal you're doing right now. I mean, I know one of our warriors did one here in California, Meyer. You know Meyer? Okay. Now, anyway,
such a huge warrior program.
I know. But he I mean, his returns were incredible. Yeah. So talk about your deal.
Hotels in general. What got me into the hotels is, number one, I don't have to do the cash for keys anymore.
Right.
Day of the close, we literally just don't rent the rooms out anymore.
Right.
Now we have a vacant building that we go in, do our renovations, and bring them to market.
Bring it to market as a multifamily. So
correct.
Talk about the physical layout of the hotel. Was it like a motel, or was it a real hotel?
Motels.
So it's a motel. So it's like all one level, or two levels? Two levels,
correct.
Okay. Because the biggest thing there is the plumbing and the electrical.
Correct.
Did it already have some quasi-kitchens or kitchenettes?
No. So every hotel room already has their restroom.
Right.
So right behind the restroom, there's always a little pony wall, and that's where we could plumb in our
for the kitchen.
Correct. So
okay.
You walk in, basic hotel room. There's a restroom. There's a little shower, a little closet, and then we'll add a little kitchenette right behind it. And that's pretty much all you need to become.
Basically a studio unit.
It's a studio unit, correct.
Okay.
And us being in California, the
rents are crazy.
They're ridiculous. So for a studio apartment in this neighborhood that we're buying, because we're buying in great neighborhoods, we don't want to be C, D neighborhoods. So finding hotels in good neighborhoods where we know the appreciation is there, we know the rent growth is there. An A-class just across the street, similar size, will rent for $2,300 to $2,500
for a studio.
For a studio, not a one-bedroom, not a two-bedroom, a studio.
Wow! So
us coming in here, getting an older hotel, doing the renovations, adding our kitchenettes, they're going to be beautiful. They're going to have the same amenities as the A-class. They're going to have the pool, the gym, the clubhouse.
So there's a pool there.
There is a pool there,
and a gym.
Correct.
Wow!
But they're going to be about $500 less than what the A-class building across the streets are going to be. So because it was a hotel and it's smaller units, of course.
So my only thing with that is I've had small studio units before, and the turnover can be higher than a typical 1, 2, 3 bedroom place.
Typically.
But with inflation and the cost of living anymore, people have got to have a place to live. And like we've got a 296 unit asset in San Antonio, the one I was talking about with the parking spaces, and we've got a pretty, the units there are pretty small, but because the market is so tight, they rent, and they rent quickly. No, I love the model. Now, I'm just out of curiosity to dig a little deeper on that deal. What is the CapEx, meaning, the renovation costs per unit for putting in the kitchens or kitchenettes? And what are you putting in? A small stove, a small fridge?
Yeah, full-size cabinets, full-size refrigerator, because they're going to be staying there full-time.
Fridge.
Yeah,
okay.
Mini fridge is not going to work for
somebody. I agree
there.
completely.
Yeah.
So full-size fridge.
Yep, a stove, some cabinet space. And that's pretty much it. Everything else is vinyl flooring. We'll put the
you put in a kitchen sink.
Kitchen sink, correct. You plumb that into the shower right
dishwasher or no?
No dishwasher.
Okay.
Every rental that I have, we always take them out because they'll leak. They're notorious for leaking. We go back. We have to do repairs. So I just opted out to not have a dishwasher.
So what's the laundry solution there?
We have one big laundry facility that is going to be coin operated. So that'll be extra.
So coin op right there in the facility.
Correct. Yeah, you have 100
exterior corridors, I assume.
Exterior corridors.
Okay, so I can see like a motel with a pool in the middle.
Towards the front, but there's a couple courtyards where there'll be some barbecue areas.
Okay.
it already feels like an apartment complex, which is great. Reason why we
Right.
liked it. But number one, the location we couldn't beat.
Okay.
10 minutes away from Knott's Berry Farm and 5 minutes away. I'm sorry, 10 minutes from Disneyland theme park.
Wow.
5 minutes from Knott's Berry Farm theme park. Growing community. It's just the location is killer for California. For
Okay. It might be good for those employees, actually.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what was the going in price on it?
We're buying it for $13 million.
$13 million, and how many doors or keys?
104.
They call it keys.
104 keys.
104 keys, and it's $13 million. So what is that?
Correct.
130K
Just
per?
under 130, correct.
Yeah.
And then
I mean, that seems so freaking high to me, but
It is.
But now,
They're
how much
cheap
you
for
doing? How
California,
much
though.
per unit? Right, it's California. How much per unit to capex?
So out the door with the kitchenettes,
Mm.
with the exterior renovations, the roof, the parking lot, redoing the pool, the surface, it's a $3 million budget. So we're about
$3 million. $3 million in capex. So you'd be about 160 per door.
Correct.
In.
Yes.
Okay. And
Multifamily in that neighborhood. There's nothing in California over 100 plus units that are trading under 250 a door.
250.
Yeah,
Okay. So
yeah.
that's.
But we're conservative 220, 230 exit.
Yeah.
It's
Oh, yeah. I mean, on
solid
all
numbers.
studios, though, you're going to be a
Correct.
little less.
Correct.
So, but still, I mean, you'll have instant equity,
Correct.
and again, you may have a little turnover, but no, it sounds like a screaming deal. I love it. Love it. In fact, I want to do some of those here in Florida. And there's tons of those motels around Disney and things like that. And like I said, one of our warriors, Meyer, had incredible returns on one.
You could double the purchase price on those. And
Yeah.
and believe me, you could do this. And I'm doing it in California, which is the heaviest tax state,
Right.
the hardest state to do business in. And
Right.
if it works here, my goodness, you could do it in other
Exactly.
states.
No, exactly.
It'll be a lot easier for sure.
Exactly. By the way, we talked before we started recording about my love for California, and I told him, listen, I do love visiting. I just can't stand the politics. I mean, they're overtaxed, they're overregulated, they're broke, and God, the stuff the insurance is going up, and yeah, don't get me started. But hey, if you can make money there, you can freaking make money anywhere, as far as
agree.
I'm concerned.
Correct.
So, what other suggestions might you have for someone, just starting out in real estate, they or hasn't even started yet? They know they need to do something. They're sitting on the sidelines, wishing they were sitting here on my couch talking to me about some success in real estate. What advice would you have for them?
Self-education, man. It
Yeah.
starts with self-education. I started off with just reading the Rich Dad Poor Dad book, and then it
Right.
just led me to other books. So really, put a lot of money and time into self-education for yourself, and then the doors will open to you for other opportunities, because you'll be looking for opportunities at that point. And that's when you came around. So at that time,
Right.
I was already looking for
Right.
a coach. I was looking to do bigger deals, and then because I was open to the
And that was
the idea-
2022?
22, correct. I joined in
Okay.
22.
And how many deals have you done since then?
I've done 5 other deals with
5 other
Warriors.
deals. Oh,
Correct.
with Warriors.
With Warriors.
So, listen, everybody thinks it's all roses and gravy when you get into this business. Talk about some setbacks or some hurdles you've had to overcome. And we've all got, this is one of the questions I always ask in my boot camps of the panelists, and I have every one of them come up with one, because I think you learn more from failures and from setbacks than you do from wins. So talk about a setback, a doozy, and maybe what the lesson was.
Oh, for sure. It was a big lesson.
Okay.
And going back to the cash for keys, what led me to the hotels is because I did buy one asset where I was going to do the same value add strategy, go in, do the cash for keys, vacate everybody.
Right.
This was in LA, so I started offering, and there's rules to follow with the cash for keys.
Mm-hmm.
In LA, it starts at $10,000. So I offered $10,000 to vacate. They didn't take it.
Wow.
This is an 8-unit, smaller complex, but they didn't take $10,000. I offered $15,000, they didn't take it. I offered $20,000 and they didn't take it.
Wow.
Later, I come to find out that the first family member had moved into the complex 30 years ago. Every time there was a vacancy, they would bring in a new family member. So it was a compound of 8 units filled with nobody was going to move out. They were all family.
Wow.
And that's when I said, you know what? I can't be doing this forever, and I'm not going to be splitting up these families. I ended up selling that building for a little less than what I paid for after I did some capex on the exterior, the roof, the paint, the windows.
What you got out of it.
But I got out of it. And that was a turning point for me and a big lesson learned, that the cash for keys is great, but man, can you really get your ass handed to you if you don't do your homework?
Wow.
So that's what led me to the hotels and buying vacant buildings and doing the renovations. I don't have to kick out anybody.
Gotcha.
Go in and do my work, and I know I could create value.
Oh, that was an aha moment.
It was.
What do you enjoy the most about this business?
Oh man, it's First of all, I'm doing what I love. I love to transform communities. I love giving a nice, clean place for good families to come in and live at. And it's just, we're creating an impact, not just financially, but an impact for the community as well. The cities are on board with our conversions. The people that are coming in are really happy to finally see something that's affordable and it's clean in the city that they live in. So it's just a great model to be in the multifamily space.
Nice,
so
nice,
I
nice.
really love it.
Well, you said something that you're loving it, and I will tell you, when you love what you do, work is play, and you
Correct.
never work another day in your life. And candidly, if you're in a job you hate, what are you doing? Figure it out and go find something you love. Life is too freaking short. This isn't a dress rehearsal, okay? So go figure out what you love. Get a little uncomfortable. It might be a little uncomfortable to go find something else, but that magnificent life of your dreams is just on the other side of comfort. So get off your butt and go do something else. I don't care if it's multifamily. Figure out what your vehicle is going to be. Maybe it's some other asset class in real estate. Maybe it's buying businesses, buying a franchise, whatever, but go do it. Don't wait. Don't be in the same place you are right now 1 or 2 years from now unless you freaking love where you are right now. Okay? That's my advice to you. So, you're not that old, but I was giving you shit that I have socks that have 2 decades on you. You're 35, right?
37.
37, okay. But let me ask you this question. If you could go back and tell 18-year-old Hector something, knowing what you know now, what might you do differently? If anything, maybe nothing, but just curious.
Oh my goodness. Network, and your network is your net worth.
Yeah.
So really just network like crazy. Rub elbows with the people that are doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
And my goodness, I so wish I would have had a coach when I was younger to, avoid the pitfalls that I've had. And we would be different, in a different place now if we would have started younger. And I feel like I'm still young. I still have a lot to go for sure. And I'm really excited where the future holds for sure.
Well, that's why we have the Warrior event this weekend,
Yep.
right? So, that's why, I didn't, we discovered, I don't know, probably pushing 5 years ago now that our most successful Warriors by far were the ones that were the most connected in the community. So we started doing things to help facilitate those connections and strategized it like crazy. And so we have Zoom breakout rooms where Warriors can speed date. But the biggest thing is the events, these Warrior-only events. Next one will be in Phoenix. I can't remember when. I think October. But and hundreds of Warriors get together. And I tell new Warriors when they sign on, I say those connections are more important than learning the business. It really is it is who you know more than what you know, which sounds crazy, but it's the truth. You agree?
100%. The partner that I'm doing the hotel conversion with, great Warrior, you've known him for many years, JD Singh.
Right.
He's got, almost a dozen hotels under his belt already. So
right.
Where else can I find another successful person that's got a dozen hotels and wants to partner with Hector? Found him in the Warrior group.
Okay. So everybody has fear, right? Going into things. What is fear? False evidence appearing real. Fuck everything and run. I like to think it's face everything and rise. But how did you push through fear when you first got into this business? Because there's, like that, even that 20 unit, there's a whole lot more zeros than a freaking flip.
Yeah,
right?
Correct.
So how'd you push through the fear?
Self-education. Yeah. And I had educated myself on, again, going back to NOI and cap rates. So you can have fear of doing a large deal, but people lie, numbers don't. Right. So if the numbers make sense and it's just the fear in the back, holding you back, you could overcome that fear.
Yeah.
Just like Nike says, just do it.
Exact. Great advice, because this business primarily is empirical. It's primarily numbers. You get the numbers right. You ask all the right questions. You look under all the rocks. Pretty hard to make a big mistake because it really is numbers. That's a great answer. Do you have kids?
I do. So we have 2, 7, and 9.
How do you, because I'm big on this, how do you manage your time so that you spend time with who's most important in your life?
I wake them up every single morning. I get them dressed. Me and my wife, we feed them, and I'm the one that takes them to school every single morning. So I have that 5 minutes on the way to school where I can get to talk to them, get them ready for school, motivate them a little bit, and I'm the first one there when they walk out the door. And we always have dinner together. It doesn't matter what we're going through, how busy we are. Phone is off. I'm away from the office, and we always have dinner together. So
fantastic, brother. Fantastic.
Yeah, family is for sure very, very important.
That's a big one for me.
For sure.
No, that's fantastic. Are there any things in the business that you don't feel like you're great at that you maybe align with other people for, or you have other people do for you? Because this business is a team sport.
100% agree. So I'm great at finding the deals,
Right.
putting it together. I could underwrite, and I know what the deal's worth once I'm done with it.
Right.
But once the conversion is done, the units are turned, tenants are moving in, I don't like the asset management part.
Oh, okay.
Managing is just
Okay.
not my forte. So that's where other people come in, other team players,
Right.
whether it's a partner, property manager, but it's something that
So you're ready to hand it off.
Yes.
You just want to get the deal done and move on.
get the other one.
You know, Tony Robbins talks about these different archetypes, and there's the artist or the creator, there's the entrepreneur, and there's the manager leader. You are the entrepreneur. Now, I could also call you the artist, but in like this a partnership that you have with JD. Maybe he's the artist and you're the entrepreneur. But the entrepreneur wants to get the deal done and get out. Then they bring in a manager to manage, and in our business, it's an asset manager to manage the property management companies,
Right.
or just to manage the asset, as it were, with a hotel convert. Well, no, that'd be a property management company as well. So, yeah. So think about that as you're listening to this. What you might be like if you're looking at internet companies, for example. You know how someone will, like an Uber, for example. They were the artists that put that thing together. The programmers put that thing together, haven't got a clue how to run a business. So they bring in venture capital. The venture capital company brings in the C-suite, the CEO, the COO, the CFO, all these different people to help them build that business. And so, the venture capitalist would be the entrepreneur, and then they bring in the manager leaders to help manage the business. So there's another example of that dynamic. So think about where you fit into that equation, because all of those pieces are needed in the multifamily business as well. Well, listen, this has been awesome, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate it. I'll see you here the day after tomorrow at the Warrior event, and I know you'll be networking like crazy, but I appreciate you coming in and spending a few minutes with me, man.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you.